Greetings YouTube and welcome again to a very busy Tuesday of offer review videos. I am so thankful my brother and his wife are celebrating their wedding anniversary today because I am at my computer able to put out more and more videos to help the community decide if it's worth their hard-earned money to get. Now today, I feel like kind of building off of the video I posted, which briefly just covered the first tier, and also I wanted to make a shorter video covering the new Grandmaster Crystal bundle because that one really didn't apply to the 3 tiers of this. But now that this is in the game, I want to say if this was 2016, today would be a July 4th like day for so many people before patch 12.0. This kind of offer today would instantly make you someone that could clear all content in the game if you had a Scarlet Witch. Or even, for that matter, a pre-patch 12.0 Thor. People don't realize how great Doctor Strange used to be. I mean, he was a god. Now he's kind of an afterthought, unfortunately. But because it is not 2016 and it is indeed 2018, today, while still significant for quite a few summoners that need 4-star rank up materials, is quite underwhelming. Someday, my dream, and I feel like I'm Martin Luther King Jr., someday I have a dream that this will be available as a 5-star booster pack, because this is the kind of thing that would change so many summoners today in 2018, because 5 stars have replaced 4 stars, and so when you see something like this, for the in-game player, you kind of shake your head because you've moved away from 95% of your 4 stars. But I also, as always, like to say that I'm not just talking about in-game players when I do offer review videos. In fact, in today's case, I very much am talking about the newer to middle tier players who still primarily use 4 stars, especially those of you who have contacted me recently who are trying to become uncollected and mainly just have a roster of a few rank 5 4-star champions. So let's get into it. We know the $20 deal, as discussed in the previous video, includes a 4-star, a 20% champion boost, and an energy refill. It is as average as it gets of a first tier, but at least Kabam is giving you the opportunity to take an average deal and at least give you more chances to give them your money by going from this to... Now we're going to talk about a Black Panther's treasure and a Odin, which, keep in mind, a Black Panther's treasure, at least in the United States of America, is $50, and an Odin is $100. So this is $150 in addition to the $20 you've already spent. So again, I'm only in America, so can I only talk about United States pricing. Those of you in Canada watching this, you're shaking your heads like it's even worse here. India, same difference. But for Americans, this is $170 for all 3 tiers. And again, if this was 2016, believe it or not, I think that would be a very fair price, even though that used to be what I paid for a new Game Boy Advance back in the late 90s for an entire console. But that would make your enjoyment and fun in the game that you love so much better. Now, it still can in terms of a 4-star, but just know, especially when you get into the upper tiers of Alliance Quest and especially Alliance War, your PI is going to be, with a 4-star, best case scenario, at like 6,000 to 6,500. I think my Stark Spidey 4-star is 6,800. But you're going to go up against 5-star and 6-star champs who have 26,000 PI and just an insane amount of health, to where your 4 stars, if you make one mistake on a really tough node, they're dead. And you're going to have to use so many of your very expensive Alliance potions and revives to revive. So what would be really sad is if you spent $170 on a champion that right now seems great, but as soon as you get to be uncollected and you 100% certainly Act 5, suddenly that $170 got you somebody that's mostly just a champion for arena points if you even grind in the arena. But let's talk about this. So maybe you don't want to spend that extra $100. Maybe you just want to spend the $50 and get yourself a 4-star generic Awakening Gem, 4 Tier 1 Alpha Catalyst, 4 Tier 4 Basics, and 9 Tier 3 Basic Catalyst. Now, again, that's $50. We saw just a couple weeks ago a unit deal, not a cash deal, to get you a 4-star Awakening Gem plus signature stones to rank them up. And this was a 4-star generic Awakening Gem for I think it was 1,250 units, and that was a deal that was way worse than the January version for 800 units. So just to give you an idea of what that would mean unit-wise, if you got that same deal for 800 units, that's $29.99. So it was a unit deal that gave you the generic Awakening Gem and the max 6-stone crystal, which gave you the ability to take one 4-star champ to Sig 99 automatically for $30, but really it's an even better value because it's for units, and free-to-play players can take advantage of those offers because if you grind in the arena and you open battle chips, or simply if you clear enough content that gives you units like monthly quests at the end, you could in theory not have to spend a dime, not a penny of your cash. Whereas this, it's like, hey, forget that you ever did that. We're going to get the Men in Black Mind Eraser in here, and we're going to just try to have you forget that those kind of offers were ever available, because that exact same thing. Now, given there's a couple more rank up materials, but that's what you get for the extra $100, right? You get that 4-star max signature stone for the class of your choice, but it's for an extra $100. And yeah, you've got 4 tier 4 basics and 3-4 tier 4 class catalyst of your choice. And I will say that the best part of this deal, by far, is the 3 tier 4 class catalyst of your choice. I know that's going to be what most people are thirsty for, because if you are a newer player or even an intermediate player, it is still very, very difficult to get tier 4 class catalyst, especially of the class that you are targeting. But people, as thirsty as you are for those skill catalysts for Blade, or tech catalysts for Star-Lord or Stark Spidey, or mystic catalysts for Dr. Voodoo or Scarlet Witch, you name it, it's really, really, really not worth $170 in 2018 for, again, a champion that most likely will eventually rot on your bench. Because once you get those 5 stars and 6 stars, you're not going to be using 95% of your 4 stars. The only 4-star I use right now in any aspect of the game, because 5 stars are all in Alliance 4 defense, they're all in my questing, is Stark Spidey, and it's because I don't have a 5-star Stark Spidey. But the minute I get a 5-star Stark Spidey, that 4-star Stark Spidey will never be used again and will only be used for the arena. So I would price all of this at best half of what they're asking you to pay. I think this 4-star booster pack should be $10. I think this 4-star Awakening booster pack should be, probably for the sake of cash, $20. And then I think this 4-star class booster pack should be $50. If those prices were there, I would give the grade overall at least a B+, maybe even an A-, depending on who you're ranking up. But as it stands, even if you're going to hoard these items for when you get a champion that's good enough to rank up to rank 5, it is simply not worth $170 to do it, because that 4-star will eventually not be somebody that you mainly use when you get to the very top of the game. And so I want to not only give you a grade that's fair for the offer now, but I want to talk about the future, because my goal for you is the same thing I've done, is to play this game for a couple of years and get to have a truly OP lineup, and that will mean mostly, if not all, 5 and 6-star champs. So as it stands, for $170, I give this deal a C-, even for many people a D+. $170 is a crazy amount of money to spend on a 4-star, and I think I'm being kind of generous, to be honest. I know people always say I'm too negative, but to say a C-, D+, given that most people, if they don't have 4 stars, this is like a straight 0 value, because you're just going to give Kabam almost $200 of your money for a champion you're not really going to use in the game, is just simply far too much money. If this was 2016, this would be a July 4th-like moment for your god-tier Scarlet Witch. But it is 2018, and yet Kabam has still turned back the clock, and I'm sure they're trying to get those people who just started in the game to give them all the money they can. So I hope this video gets out to those alliances who maybe are in the silver tier, or whatever the lowest tier is, the copper tier, the tin tier, the fool's gold tier, and you get to see this and say, oh, no, not today, Satan, not today.